Hey there everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris Orme and today we're back playing FM21. We're here doing things the Swansea way. And today we join the action as we take on a familiar foe. I didn't think that at this stage of the competition we could face someone from our group. Apparently we can, because we have and are. We were drawn with RB Leipzig, and so here we are. Interesting. Marseille, Victoria Pleasant, Rangers and Arsenal are through. United have an away goal to defend against with Atalanta. We'll see what Atalanta can do. Celtic taking advantage into Croatia against Zagreb, and the Czech club Slavia Prague go the Turkish side, Sivasspor, with a similar advantage. We drew 1-1 in the first leg. I'm not going to lie, it's been a wild ride since you last saw us. It's been a wild ride. After the Everton draw in the Cup, Brentford, solid win. Not a great play against Palace, but again, stayed unbeaten. Managed to win on penalties with a B team. We went as young and as sort of rotated as we could. End up with a fantastic goal right at the end of injury time to save it from Elena, and then win on penalties. Burnley, nice big win. Elena puts away his own penalty rebound, and that gets us off to a good start. Not great against Man United. We just didn't play well up top at all. So we kind of deserved to lose that game. But against Arsenal, again, Elena comes up big since he's joined. Done a very good job. Tuba Kai George over Brighton. Then Brewster and Gold. 10 men, Everton, at the end of things. So come back from 1-0 down, pull it back, get the job done. And then Kai George on the road after Mario Götze had opened up the scoring for Leipzig. So very decent indeed, and a complete and utter implosion at home to Fulham last time out. So we don't get too many of those, but we're prone to one or two. We are prone to one or two. All in all, though, a very, very good season. I'm very happy with it, to be honest with you. I'm very, very happy with it. So, as I say, I think we left you after that Everton game. It's been a short while, and you already know one or two of the transfers, but there's a lot more to come, as you might have seen there. So, you can see, I think we brought in Mitchell, and we brought in Robertson in the last video. Either of them amazing prospects, but both cheap as they come. And then Casalena, again, very, very cheap for his quality. Definitely fits what we want to do. Solid all-round play, and he just fits. He just fits the team quite nicely and the Swansea way of doing business. And if we look down here, throughout the same time, you know, we got Vasilidis out. I think that was the last transfer you knew. Stuart Findlay, 7.5, raising to nearly 9. Yeah, he just wasn't fitting in here. He didn't want to wait around. He wanted first team football. He was starting to become a bit of a problem, so we let him go. He's out at Leeds. He's already started to play a few games for them, but maybe not as many as he'd like, but definitely more than here. Nicholas Raskin, only 2 clubs were interested and actually offered for him. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't want to sell him to Everton, so we ended up selling him for slightly less to Werder Bremen. Apparently, that's a really bad deal. Apparently, that 22 million profit in like a short amount of time is a really bad deal. Not entirely sure. How can I tell the actual date and everything? I can't. I'd really like to know the exact dates he joined and the exact date he left, so we could kind of count the days of how quickly that 22 million profit happened. So 29th of January. 29th of January in Houston. Wouldn't he? So here he is. Okay. So that's around 6 months. I don't know. I think that's a good deal. A max low 3.9. That's just been paid. I don't think there's any further clauses on that one. I could be wrong, but I think that's now actually fully paid. It was 3.1 rising. We've got Finley, the money to come in. Oh no. Yeah, there's the league appearances, which is nothing. Really, it's another 40,000, and we're paying him a little bit of money for the next 4 years, which is okay. I don't know why we had to pay that. Really, it's Celtic; they should be able to afford him. But so be it. You know, if that's where we are, that's where we are. There's money coming in for Raskin too, so yeah, there's a little bit more than those deals say they probably are. So not too bad. Not too bad, but we knew we'd probably had to make a move on Lowe and Finley and Raskin. Once there was an offer in, I think that was too good a deal not to do, basically. Raskin out and Elena in. We had to delay the Raskin deal a little bit to try and make sure Elena came in first and got the work permit. And as you can see here, going out, there's deals all over the place. Bids we couldn't reject for Cabango, and for which is the other one? Ryan Gold, he wanted to leave. Joined Chelsea. Gibbs White, Man City splashing the cash. Isaac Success, again, deals we couldn't really reject. Thompson and Pearson, small profits. Xavi Shintes and Jack Evans just not developing. Small amounts of money, but good. Good enough players. And Ashley Fletcher as well in the reserves. So just dumping out some players. Ricurli, Gozzi, Cooper, Blake not going to make it at the club. Nobody there for too big an amount of money. But it does all add up, and it does open up a lot of spaces for other people to come in. Mainly youngsters into the reserves, but we are losing. We're going to need another striker. We're going to need an attacking midfielder and a centre midfielder in that first team. And, of course, a defender as well, since we lost Finley. So, there wasn't really anyone in defence that I wanted to pick up, or that I could pick up, but we got some names in midfield. So Tonali, he wouldn't join on the end of contract deal. He just would not at all join. So I had to offer, and when I offered, he wanted to discuss a contract, and then I backed out of it, and I offered him at the end of his contract. I mean, we were kind of coming towards the end of the window there, so I didn't have time to bring him in within the window. So we're ending up paying, just before the end of his contract, to get him 21 days earlier, we're paying 9.25. That's a pretty bad deal, except that you're buying Tonali for 9 million. So it's not a bad deal in that regard. But I wish he would have discussed terms with us beforehand. He didn't. And that kind of sucks. But hey, being able to bring him in, I think, is a very, very good deal. So I'm kind of happy with it nonetheless. Transfer listed as well. McTominay wanted for 18 million. Worth 32. The model citizen, British, strong midfield play. Not a superstar, but I think comes in and definitely, replaces like a Raskin quite nicely in that midfield. So, yeah, I'm quite happy to do that. And again, it's a ball-winning defender midfielder, which is something we need at the moment. And I think it frees up the fact that we can get rid of Ben Pearson. McTominay comes in as a replacement there. Tonali's another central defensive midfielder, which means that, Palaversa doesn't have to play that. He can now go on to being a Mizala and actually being a bit more creative. So we got those two to be the ball winnings. We got Palaversa, Cook. Brooks has been retrained, or is in the essence being retrained into a centre mid, and Casalena. Those would be my 4 Mizalas within that system. And that frees up Demir as my first choice attacking mid again, alongside Emmanuel Vignato, who for 8 million, I just couldn't turn down. Again, a very good player, high potential, good work permit chance, and a very good player. All in all, I had to really pick him up. So we've got our midfield all sorted for next season. We've added in as well Yannick Elstead to the mix of young strikers that we're bringing in young players. He's actually coming in at the end of his deal. So I'm really happy. So there's a couple here that won't come in till like the end of next season. But Tonali, McTominay, Vignato will come in at the end of this one. January of next season, John Colgan. Everybody else is, as I say, the end of next season, not this season. And it does mean that my 2 goalkeepers are Bender and Roning. My right backs, Henrik and Vagu. George, backed up by young Brian Facey, only just come into the club not too long ago. Turned 17 during that transfer window while players were being sold. Looks good, got a decent rating, high potential, consistent. Why not bring him in? He's actually turned English, which... maybe he was English, I can't remember. I slightly remember him being Irish, but I'm not sure about that. So he came in for cheap and is just an absolute steal so far. Love that. And then we got Betham and Bono with Vickers, Carter Vickers as the backup. And I need to find one more. So either we buy in the summer or I promote a Daryl Gillespie type, my Northern Irish centre-back who does not look ready at all. Or maybe, knowing he's backup, Levi Faustino, which I think is what we're going to be doing. Honestly, I think that's what we're going to be doing, is bringing up Levi. It just kind of makes sense. Like I say, the midfield is booked. We've got our 2 defensive midfielders. And then we've got our 4 Mizala roles. And then we got Demir along with Vignato as our attacking midfield roles. George, Brewster, Tyler Roberts backing up. Then it's promote a striker from the reserves unless we fancy somebody else. But yeah, for my money right now, that would be Louis Carbonell. The other way we could go is Lucas Gomez, who looks possibly a little better. I'm not sure which way around. I want those two to go. And of course, we've got more room on this screen than in other in other screens. We can add other skins. We can add, if we did want to, a bunch of players into here as part of an enlarged first team squad. So that's also something that I'm tempted to do. So probably a centre back and a striker needed. There are players that could do the job okay in the reserves right now, so we might just promote from within. I'm thinking about selling Stephen Bender, but I've not pulled the trigger, and he's been playing well. He has been playing well. That game against Everton, he actually got a 9 rating, kept us in the game, and helped us to get 2 penalties and through penalties. So he's doing a good enough job for now, but I don't know about anything beyond that. So right now I think we're in a good place, but we are going to be losing another 4 or 5 first team players. Team cohesion's going to take a hit. Club atmosphere is going to take a hit again for next season. Gibbs White has joined in as a team leader. That does suck because, yeah, he's going to be leaving. So literally anyone else that was influential or highly influential would have been a great choice. Gold is leaving. Gibbs White's leaving. They were the only 2 we didn't want in there. But hey, it is what it is. Social groups also looks better. Elena and Success. Success is leaving. Elena's new. We've got the secondary group around the vice captain Bono. And we got Lewis Cook heading up the core social group there. It's quite good. It's quite good. I think we got a good squad again. And we're better for next season. We're adding real quality into that midfield, which is currently pretty good. Cook, Palversa, Gold, and Brooks. I think that's a good starting midfield, but what we're really doing here is upgrading Ryan Gold into Brooks and then starting Demir with players like Finale coming in to replace Palversa. McTominay to go onto the bench instead of a Pearson, and replacing Gibbs White with your level of player like Vignato bench. So yeah, it's interesting. I will say that much. It's interesting. We're really developing quickly, but I'm losing a Scotsman to gain a Scotsman. I'm losing an Englishman to gain an Italian. Twice, actually. 2 Englishmen for Italians. So my first Italians, other than Gozzi, they're replacing the Englishman. The Scotsman replacing the Scotsman. In defense and in attack, we're losing a Nigerian and an Italian, and probably bringing up 2 Portuguese. Or Portuguese and a Spaniard. And I think they're not bad moves to make either for team dynamic or play. But yeah, that's where we are. That puts us in with a decent chance of getting through against RB Leipzig. I think this is the best team we can put out right now. Roning, George, Bono, Mefam, Heinrichs, Gold, Palversa, Cook, Brooks, Roberts, Kai George. Brewster's taking a bit of a knock. He's not really fit, but I'll have him on the bench just in case we need him. Demir and Elena there as well as game changers. Defense and goalkeeper covered on the bench. So we'll see how well this goes. Yeah. Cross your fingers and hope, boys. Cross your fingers and hope. If we lose, we're out. If we draw, then I think it goes to extra time. Or away goals. So if we don't concede, we're okay. And a solid win will take us through into the quarterfinals. We played really well against them in the group stage, but Dani Olmo, Mario Gozzo, Alex Soloth up top. That's a a dangerous trio, and if we're not switched on at the back, we will be knocked out. Encourage the team. Heinrichs had a little opportunity there from the throw-in. There's up to Cook, Palaversa, Brooks back to him. Nice attempted ball up, but here comes Soloth now. Soloth down the right. Oh my God, look at that pace. Danny Olmo blocked. And Cuckoo and running saves us there. That's a very interesting ball to Kai George. Danny almost through. There's the goal. That's what we feared early. That is what we feared early, boys. Sloppy play at the back, and their counter-attacking ability is absolutely deadly. If we're not passing the ball and retaining possession well, we've got no chance. There we go. Tyler Roberts. God, absolutely fantastic though. We rebound instantly. Tyler Roberts does really well. Gets through up a Meccano somehow and just tees up Ryan Gold. You know what? I'm really sad that I accepted that bid for Ryan Gold when I think of these kind of goals that he just breaks forward and gets in. I mean, that's going to be Brooks next season. That's going to be Carzalena. That's going to be one of those two mainly, I think. But Ryan Gold's been doing the business for us. Osterman. George does decently. Can Goldie get there? Goldie can get there. Tyler Roberts turns his man. Absolutely fantastic. What a thunderbolt. Oh my God, Lewis Cook absolutely hit that, and it stayed hit. 10th of the season. You would have thought Tyler Roberts cutting inside would go himself. George does excellently. Ryan Gold does excellently. Tyler Roberts does excellently. And when it falls to Lewis Cook, that's why we don't play him as a DM. That's why we play him as a Mizala. On the edge of the area, him and Ryan Gold have broken forward in from central midfield and got the job done for us. Absolutely fantastic. And Roberts has been pretty damn impressive so far. Heinrichs is through the German against the German side. Hungarian Peter Gulacsi, though, he does his job. George apparently has a knock. Finds Gold. Brooks, ball up to Roberts. He's been dynamic. He cuts in. Does he square up anybody? He goes for goal himself. Gulashi there with a save. The former Liverpool young goalkeeper. Making a name for himself with Leipzig now these days. Doing a decent job so far, but beaten twice already. Ryan Gold with a free kick. George got free, but he can't get his header down enough and on target enough to be a factor here. Another corner, Ryan Gold. Roberts, George. Brooks back out. Gold. That's a little bit poor. Palaversa though. George. Gold. Tyler Roberts! Oh, it's there! It's Tyler Roberts, ladies and gentlemen. What a hit! Oh, he deserves that today. He has been pulling the strings down that left-hand flank up front for us. Just absolutely amazing. And Ryan Gold, what a ball. Oh my God, he negates both defenders with a single pass. Absolutely phenomenal. We're up 3-1. We are up 3-1. Tim Roning collects that ball. George would be a good place to put it. He pumps it up front instead. It comes straight back, but there's Cook. And Roberts is behind the defence. Does he have another in him? Oh, he's hit the post. Kanate with a clearance. Oh, Kanate. I think he'd be too expensive. But there's a name to consider. There is a name to consider. But right now, that Daniel opener immediately eclipsed by Ryan Gold and Lewis Cook for us. And then Tyler Roberts putting the work in today. What a boy he is. What a boy. Oh my God, what a performance. I'm happy with this. Keep it going, lads. Keep it going. I think individuals just try and get Henriks a little bit more motivated, and I think we're just going to go with Tyler Roberts. Tell him I'm delighted with him and send him out again. Yeah, we might not even need Ryan Brewster. That would be phenomenal. That would be phenomenal. George is doing okay. I think we'll give him the quarter of an hour, and then we'll take George off. We'll probably take off, if Kai George isn't playing well, we'll take him off as well at that point, or maybe Lewis Cook if he's looking tired. So we'll keep an eye on that kind of stuff and just see where we are. I'm going to sit back on cautious again. Start of the second half. Fire up the boys. Apparently the defenders don't like that kind of shout. But we're still doing okay, and we should get through. That will do for me. We'll go back up to positive, as I said. Kai George off for Brian Facey. Lewis Cook for Carls Elena. We'll save the third sub. Kai George doesn't look great. Really doesn't look great right now. What we might actually do, though, is take him off for Demir. That might actually be the play, and not put Ryan Brewster out there when he's not fully recovered from his injury. Gonna praise the team, try and get their morale up, get everything going nicely. And Gold is tired, almost corner. Josemir hits the post. We both hit the post now. Kai George, well, apparently can break out, but didn't do too much. And they are definitely coming back into this. Back down to cautious in that case. Danny Olmo's behind the defence again. They hit the post. Facey's been booked, but he's done enough. Okay, who do I really need to sit back and defend? I mean, Ryan Gold is probably the right man to remove at this stage. So if I put Demir on, I drop Brooks back in, move Elena over that side so Brooks can go down the right, drop Palaversa back in, and then sit on wing back, defend Salah support, and yeah, why not? Inverted winger supports for Kai George and Demir. I think that would be it. So unless Facey gets sent off or Ryan Gold can't survive the last 5 minutes with his current condition, and Palaversa as well, but dropped him back so he can be more effective in breaking up play, negating Danny Olmo and not being having to do too much running. Very, very decent. Not a great play from us at all there. Golden Cook ran the midfield. Palaversa stepped up at the end of the game when he was further back. Heinrichs had a good game down the right. Roberts ran things down the left wing for us. That's all we needed. That's all we needed. Danny Olmo was a threat. They played really well. But at the end of the day, all that mattered was getting through. We had a good performance and a good result. I'm absolutely floored with that. Tyler Roberts, Ryan Gold. Delighted, boys. Delighted with you two. Absolutely phenomenal from both of them. And goes to show they like Ryan Gold might be getting sold for what I perceive to be better players, and Tyler Roberts might not get in over some of our other players sometimes. But to be fair, whenever we've counted on them, they've stood up and they've shown me that they can truly play. Yeah. Interesting. Last game, you Goldie. Just everything about your game was phenomenal. And you just led the entire line in a brilliant way. A goal, an assist, some fantastic left wing play. Absolutely fantastic. FA Cup quarter-final. Up next, Southampton. If something happens, we could lose United, City, and Chelsea all in the same round here. And the semi-final could be us versus Barnsley, Leeds versus Blackburn. We could face off against a Blackburn type team in the final. I wouldn't be against that. In fact, I'd prefer to have Leeds and then take the winner of Barnsley Blackburn. So, stranger things have happened, but from looking like we might not defend our FA Cup, we're actually back in the quarterfinals with a decent draw and a chance at least having one or two teams we'd like to face in the semi. Although Chelsea, United and Man City could win, and those would be really tough semi-finals for us. So we'll see how that goes. Marseille are up next in the Europa League. We're probably not going to watch that. I think we'll watch the next game will probably be Villa. And then hopefully we'll be able to round up what happened against Marseille, why we're out or why we're through. And then take a look at the semi-final, which should be just after that. And then the last game, if we get there, will be the Europa League final. That's what I've got planned. So next game up should be this Aston Villa game. If we get to the FA Cup final and the Europa League final, depending how close they are together, we might show both those in one episode, or we might do 2 episodes and upload them around the same time, possibly on the same day. So, absolutely mind-blowing stuff. Absolutely just crazy what we're doing again this season. I still don't believe we're in with a chance of winning the league. I think that, yeah, we're well behind. We're 21 points back. That's, if Liverpool win one more game, then at most we could win it on goal difference. So no title in our first season in the Premier League. That dream is dead after never really living. And with respect to like second place, United's kind of got that sewn up. We still could be fighting for a top 4 European place, you know. That's infinitely possible. Even with the finish we have, that 8 points over Tottenham and the last 3 games being losses for us is kind of only puts us behind by a point, you know. So, and that puts us tied with an Everton if they go unbeaten. It's in our hands. It really is in our hands, but it's been an absolute mad season. We lost to Burnley on penalties in the opening round of the League Cup. We lost 3-0 at the Emirates against Arsenal, 3-1 at home to Leeds, 3-2 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 3-1 at Old Trafford, and 3-0 at home to Fulham. So, if you score 3 against us, normally we'll collapse. Now, that was a bad performance there against Burnley. We rescued a 3-goal against when we played Everton. And that madcap 7-goal thriller at Craven Cottage. The Leicester game, again, we came back from being 2-0 down, but 3 goals against us, we came back and fought for it. So we beat Fulham, we drew the others. Yeah, if we concede 3 goals, we've only ever won once this season on the back of that. So, and our good run comes with less than a goal a game against us. So we need to get back to that. We'll see how it happens, or if it happens. Absolutely phenomenal. Gonna draw in Germany and then come back 1-0 down. Straight away we get our goal back. Cook with an absolute thunderbolt, and Tyler Roberts with a very deserved goal towards the end. We hit the goal. We hit the post once. They hit the post twice, I believe. They definitely looked better towards the end of the game, but we took our chances early. I think we deserve it. Oh, Josh. Oh. I mean, it's the same leg. There's no recurring injury. And he's certainly not injury prone. But it's all right leg. Tight thigh, broken ankle, out for only 2 months. He actually came back relatively quick. I think that was a 3-month injury he came back a little early from. And 4 to 5 weeks. It's a big loss to have George out again. But we're not going with Max Lowe. We're going with Facey. So I'm a little bit more comfortable with that. We'll see kind of how that goes. Yeah, Heinrichs can play there. So him and Facey rotate at left back, and Heinrichs and Wagwe, who's now back after Senegal's performances. Look, you're getting all the way to the final before losing 2-0 to the Ivory Coast. Boga and Traore with that. So, but yeah, he wasn't actually playing in the final. So they took him out the team, and he ends up, he ends up watching his team getting beaten, which I don't kind of get, because he had a 7.3 in the semi. He had a 7 point. Oh no, he didn't play. Did he not play in the quarters? Okay, is he just rotating in and out? A 6.2 against the Gambia. 7-2, 7-2, 6-7. So 6-7, 7-2, 7-2. A 6.2, he gets dropped for the next game. Sabally plays well. He's back in the semis, though, and does well. Sabally moves over. And yeah, they bring up Papa Cisse and Papa Suare. They don't play well. Sabally could have played in one of their positions, and he could have started. I think it's a harsh drop, but he is back. And, yeah. We're gonna need him. We are gonna need him. But Heinrichs can play left back. So, him and Wagyu share right back. And Heinrichs also shares left back with Byron Facey. I think that's what we're going for. Lee Robertson. He's very young. He's probably not good enough. Okay. It's interesting. That's for damn sure. I need to go rebuild the schedule a little bit here then. So, why don't we... The recovery. Preview there. Why don't we recovery here? No, recovery is good there. Recovery, community outreach, and a match preview. After the game, we'll come in with team bonding, a match review. and another recovery. Defending, attacking, teamwork. And then over here, I play the shadow plays. I think that's decent there. Ball retention needs to be moved, so we'll go to the day before for ball retention. Here. Community outreach before that game. Going recovery review. Recovery. Bonding before we travel. Recovery match route. Yep. There's so much recovery because from what I can see here, the difference here between recovery and what it gives you versus the rest, like, rest will bring fatigue way down. Like, way down. But I've not really seen too much of an issue with that. If I'm honest, I haven't seen too much of an issue with fatigue. Some players miss a game or two a season due to fatigue. And we're normally wanting to rotate anyway, so I'm okay with that. The condition goes up slightly more on a rest day, but there's not a huge difference. Happiness is the same. But what you do get on a recovery is the injury risk goes down a lot. So that's greatly reduced. So while you're not getting as much fatigue recovery, you are getting injury risk reduced, which is absolutely fantastic. You also keep the happiness. The condition fatigue is slightly worse off, but you're gaining a lot there with the injury risk. And match sharpness goes slightly down, not greatly down, and team cohesion doesn't go down. So anytime I see rest in the schedule, I'm very tempted now to switch it to recovery. I'm very tempted to switch it actually over to recovery. Because I just think it does a good job. You know, I just think it does a good job there and allows us to do what we need to do. So rather than leaving that in there, I'm starting to do it. We're seeing our schedules still look fairly decent in terms of the amount of training, what we're training, but at the same time, we're not losing a ton in terms of overall fitness and availability for the game time. If we miss one or two due to having resting players because they're fatigued, I'd rather have that than have someone go out in a big injury through training. So I think this way round makes sense to me. So I would encourage you to look at that and figure out yourself kind of what that could mean. Because these days with the, like I say, with the recoveries in there, you can see the sharpness is reduced. We've just played a game to get that up. But fatigue actually comes down. Condition is actually back up a little bit after a match. But the injury risk is way, way down. And that builds us up for a good day of training before we come back in then with a match preview. And again, condition might go down a tiny bit, but there's not a huge loss before that game. There's not a huge issue here for that game. And this, again, sets us up quite nicely for a better day's training here. So, yeah, more recovery. No resting that I can change. That's just the way it's going to have to be. I still don't know what the effects of the match are, but I would think the injury risk goes up, condition goes down, fatigue goes up, sharpness goes down, happiness goes up. So that's kind of what I think that would look like, but I'm not sure of the levels at all. So Marseille beat Gant, Pilsen over Olympiacos, Rangers over Midtjylland, and Arsenal over Sevilla. Atalanta put Man United out of the Europa League. Celtic need away goals despite a decent lead to get through there. In the extra time, to get through against Dinamo Zagreb. Absolutely amazing. And it's Cagliari, who we looked at, and we almost picked up ourselves. He sent them through. Absolutely understandably. Delighted with his impact there, I'd guess. Slavia Prague go through despite losing to Sivasspor, and we are through ourselves. That will set up us against Marseille. Pilsen versus Rangers. Rangers should be getting to the semi-finals there. Arsenal should get through against Slavia Praha. And you know what? I'm going to back Celtic over Atalanta, even though I think Atalanta should win. Just imagine Swansea, Rangers, Arsenal, Celtic as the final four in the Europa League. 2 English, 2 Scottish. In technicality, we're Welsh, but we play in the English League. Imagine us versus Rangers, Arsenal versus Celtic, and then either us versus Arsenal in the final, or Rangers Celtic in the final, or the best English club, I say in air quotes, against the best Scottish club. Oh, it's interesting. The stories almost tell themselves. They almost tell themselves. Looks like George will miss. Yeah, he will be a big miss, but it's going to open up the door for somebody else. And then we need to right back in here. Oops. Go get them a day's rest because they're tired. So they have a recovery session. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't rest people and just let them use the recovery. Because rest is bad. I don't know. That's really interesting. Really interesting. And then we got Tyler Roberts. We had to go up to 45k a week, but we got him as a squad player. That's another 4-year deal. As you can see, we didn't have to pay too much. But that, I believe, was the last thing that was upsetting the happiness here. Indeed. We are all back together again in terms of our happiness grid. Everyone seems to be delighted with training, which I'm really pleased with. Their treatment, everyone is satisfied at least. The club basically is really happy to be in the first team squad. Everyone else is satisfied with their role. My management, everybody's satisfied with what I've done lately. Playing time, satisfied to delighted. Like to see it. And very happy to delighted for the squad. Apart from the injured man, Georges, who is only slightly happy because his morale's just killed. Really, really like that. That will sort itself out, hopefully. Bono will probably move up to replace, to join Gibbs White and Cook. At the end of the season, Gibbs White goes out. I fully expect then. I'm really hoping for Roening or Brewster to become a team leader. That would be the dream for me. Cook, Roening, Brewster would be a dream. Kai George moves up, and that would be enough for me. That would be enough for me. I don't know where the players we're signing are actually going to come. What they need to do, but yeah, that's where we're going to leave things. As I say, I think we're in a really good spot right now. Team's in a good place. The players are in a good place. We've just tied up the final contract. We've sold the players that we're not going to be using for the future. Players that wanted to leave, and deals too good to turn down. Which is the Swansea way. Buy low, sell high. Make your profit. Use that to develop the club. As I say, the board have been pretty good to us so far. Look at all the completed stuff. Recently, warm weather training camp came in. We went to Cyprus for that. That was pretty cool. It was pretty warm, actually, which is the whole point, I guess. The affiliate clubs come in, doing the training facilities still, and the stadium expansion will be done soon. They don't like some of our results. They don't like us making 22 million profit on Raskin in a 6-month window, which is crazy. But they're absolutely delighted with the way other things are going. Kill the entire transfer budget while we're here. We still got 200,000 in the wage budget, which we're not using when we take into account all the other signings we're making too. They understand the FL Cup loss to Burnley around early. We're overachieving again in the FA Cup with a shot at defending it. We've already avoided relegation. Absolutely phenomenal. It says we're on a poor run. I don't think we're on a poor run. We're just not hitting our stride at the moment. We're well up the league, and being competitive means quarterfinals of the Europa League, apparently. So very good there. High tempo pressing really works. Entertaining possession. We're not playing attacking football because we didn't play as well when we did. So I don't know. Things look really good to me. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Once again, thank you for the continued support on the channel here. Like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. Link in the description to my Twitter, to the Patreon. If you want to do a little bit more and help us out that tiny bit more. Support the channel. Also go over to Twitch. You can follow me there. Subscribe if you want to do some more supporting action there and help us out a little bit financially so I can concentrate more on output of content. So, that being said, big games to come as we save the game. Next live com, likely to be that Villa game at home. We'll know where we are in the league then. We're probably going to lose our last 3. But until then in the league, Sheffield United away. Not a terribly tough game. We should get something. Brighton at home. Not terribly tough. We should get something. Leicester away. Leeds away. And then Villa at home. We should get something out of all those games. I'm going to say right now, if I get 9 points out of those games, I'm okay. If I get 10, I'm happy. If we don't get another point in the league at all, and we drop, say, to... I mean, at that point, it's probably... Yeah, it's probably 10th or 11th, to be honest with you, we'll drop if we lost every game. All our last 8 games. I don't think we dropped too much more than that. And I had targeted for my first season 14th. That was where I targeted. So they'd have to make up 25 points in 8 games, which isn't possible. So we're definitely above all those. It would be goal difference that Wolves have over us. Yeah, we could fall down to 13th. So I think 13th is our lowest we can actually go. If we look at the season preview, it didn't have us in that. Again, I hate the fact that this changes mid-season. It's supposed to be a preview, not an evolving thing. But yeah, no, we would definitely 18th to go down. We would 100% 18th to go down. So we're overachieving, and if we do get into about 13th place, which I do think is our lowest, with what we're doing in the FA Cup, with what we're doing in Europe, I'll be happy with that. So yeah, no matter what happens now, I'm pretty happy. If we can take some points along the way, so be it. And then, like I say, maybe we sack off the league a little bit towards the end to try and see if we can sneak through against Marseille and Southampton, get semi-final draws that suit us. We might get a couple of finals. We might be able to defend the FA Cup, add Europa League in Season 2, which would be mental, and that would automatically qualify as Season 3, despite maybe falling out of the league spot. for the Champions League. Oh my. That's only just hit me. Wow. But there it is. That's what could happen, ladies and gentlemen. Boys and girls, thank you very much for being a part of this journey and, walking with me along the Swansea way once more. I'll see you next time. Till then, take care, stay safe, behave yourself. And I wish you all the luck that we're getting right now. It's going to be fun finding out just how good we can be. Top 6, Champions League football next season, 2 trophies. Who knows? We'll find out together. I'll see you there.